Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our Saturday night. You know what? Now that I think about it, Garyland, we gotta think of a name for this Saturday Night Live since there's a consistent show every Saturday night. We gotta think of a name. What y'all think? Y'all think we gotta think of a name for the Saturday night show?
We absolutely should.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, exactly.
You know what we really need. What we really need is for the chat to name us.
Yes. So that's the assignment of the chat.
Mhm.
Can you, ladies and gentlemen, give us a name for the Saturday Night Lives?
We were
You know,
we were
'cause-
reserved the right to say hell no. Your channel your title sucks. Okay, your name
I know.
is bad. That's on you. Okay, all right. So don't get mad at me for giving me a terrible name. What up? What up? What up, baby girl? What up?
Hi.
What's up, everybody?
Smooth?
We'll
Hey,
get the
what's
names
going on?
together. It's all right. It wasn't nothing wrong with that. You mean?
You damn right I mean. They be mean to me. One guy said I was wearing a diaper. Do you believe that? A diaper?
Wow.
Yeah, I was like,
Wow.
You know,
Very
honestly, some people say
disrespectful.
some of the most ignorant things. I mean, they don't have to watch if you think it's a diaper. No problem. You change the channel. Maybe he's never seen a diaper before.
I'm pretty sure it was coming from a place of love.
Right.
What y'all
Yeah.
think? What y'all think?
Oh, bless your heart. You do? Bless your heart. I don't know.
Look,
No, it's the
you know,
internet.
you
They
know,
mean as
you,
hell in the internet. They be just saying,
you know what? I'm a person that always looks for the silver lining. That's
I
me.
get
Right?
it. I get it. I get it.
For real, for real. But welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to our Saturday night program. That's what we'll say for right now until you guys in the chat help us come up with a name. Welcome to our Saturday night program where we bring relevant. I got to get that line down, Gary. Where we bring relevant something content
suck.
to you guys.
It's taken me a long time, and I still don't say it right either.
I know, right?
I don't.
So, Mr.
Relevant
Gary
content
Lamb.
of life, freedom, and the pursuit of happiness.
Yes.
Okay.
Something like that.
Something like that. You've been listening
Something
to it for 2 damn years, and you something like that. Let me get our son's birthday wrong, and look how quick you jump down my freaking face.
Oh, really?
We don't recite that never. Okay, all right. I said every damn show,
I
and
wouldn't
you don't
recommend
got
it
it.
though.
I'm stalling because I can't remember the line myself, but that's all right.
Welcome to the Gary Lamb Network, where we discuss.
This is your boy Gary Lamb bringing relevant content on life, freedom, and pursuit of happiness. What up, Rumble? What up, YouTube? What up, Discord? Yo, Odyssey, we on our way. We coming your way as well. We are doing big things in the Gary Lamb Network. We got a whole collaboration going on. We got T3 in the house. Well, she ain't in the house today, but she is definitely on the team. We got Winning Reality is also on the team. We got a couple of other heads that's on the team. We got 360 Smooth, Lady Lamb, we got Eric P, and we got Walls P. We got the morning show AM. What it is 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Where we wake your ass up, get you to damn work happy. Okay, happy. You mad in the morning, like I can't stand. Whoa, wait. Okay, Walls is up. They talking about some stuff. What up, Grimes? What up, Alex? 505. What's going on? Listen, we got a show for you to Nizai. Yes, diaper. Listen, Saturday night diaper change. Wow. Yes. What's up?
Wow.
Y'all real cute. Whoever came up with that. Yeah, that's cute.
That was adorable, right?
Yeah, I know, right?
Rumble, wake your ass up. We only see one person, and that's me. I don't got time for this. Wake your asses up. I know Trump is doing dumb stuff, but so what? He gonna be in the news for the next four freaking years. So Get your ass over here. You can do the rewatch on that. Oh, shout out to the rewatch crew because you guys has been kicking ass. Y'all have been coming, and I really appreciate every last one of you. You actually starting to comment. I saw a new comment. He said, "Rewatch crew in the house." I was like, "Awesome, that's what's up." So I'm glad to see you guys. It made me feel so good.
Yeah, we should rewatch crew. Put hashtag rewatch when you comment. This way, we could shout you guys out and let us know that you're part of the rewatch crew. So definitely,
right. So listen, we got a good one for you today. Oh, also, if you want to donate to the channel, you can do so through the Cash App. You can do it from PayPal. You can do it from Gifts and Go. You can also go to Walls P channel and you can become Matters of Opinion and you can become a member there as well. You can also super chat there because unfortunately I am not demonetized until at the very least December 28th or something. That's when I can reapply, which is sucky, but it is what it is. But you have other channels that you can donate to the channel if you choose to do so. Now let's get into the meat and potatoes of this topic. We have a new list that modern women
not new lists. We have several lists.
Did you get the one for the guys too? I saw a new list.
But I kept it. I kept it that way because I got 4 lists lined up. The original list that was printed, that was from the Cheesecake Factory woman. Then another list of women saying, "Hey, these are the places that we should be taken to or took to on the first date." Then some gentlemen, just from the picture, I know 360. When you see it, you're gonna be like, "Oh my god!" You're
gonna flip.
You're gonna be holding your head like a migraine. Dude, like seriously, this is what this.
I've actually been commenting on these types of things over the last several days, and honestly, they are all equally horrible because the more we explore them, well, I'll put it like this: it's going to be one of those things you might want to come back to me on because it's going. What I have to say is going to hurt. So I'll leave it like that for right now.
For the young women on the channel that are not like them broads. Me and my wife went Dutch for
the language would be great.
Okay.
The language would be soft, but the content is going to hurt. It's going to sting.
It's going to sting. All right.
The one that I was telling you guys that 360 is going to hold his head like a migraine. I actually had a back and forth on IG on that one. And then the last one is going to come off as a more realistic one where here's a list of things men refuse to pay for if we are not married. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. So, you know me, I like to cut the chase and get to the meat and potatoes. So, let's start off with the first list that popped off soon as this Cheesesteak Factory situation went down. Bam, right there. Let me make it bigger so everybody can see. All right, is that bigger for everybody? Y'all can see it better?
I can't see none of that. All right, much better.
Well, I know. Okay, there we go. All right, so it says here is a list of places women absolutely refuse to go on a first date to. And thank you to the ladies who reached out to me to help me on this list. Number 1, Cheesecake Factory. Number 2, Applebee's. Number 3, Chili's. Number 4, Chipotle. Number 5, Olive Garden. Number 6, the movies. Number 7, your house. Number 8, any fast food chain. Number 9, Buffalo Wild Wings. Number 10, Wingstop. Number 11, Red Lobster. Number 12, a buffet. 13, IHOP. 14, Denny's. 15, the gym. 16, church. 17, Starbucks. 18, coffee dates. 19, ice cream dates. 20, family functions. 21, movie night, Netflix, Hulu, etc. 22, somewhere that requires a long drive. 23, bowling. 24, nightclubs. 25, hookah bar. 26, a bar for just drinks. 27, Waffle House. And 28, sports events. Now, when you go through this list, it's like, well, damn, what the hell is there to do then? Like, seriously?
They trying to go to the Met Gala.
But that's the list. Now, I want to start with the ladies first. So I guess Erica P, you could take the lead on this list that you see, right? is there any, first off, is there any place that you may disagree with?
Okay, so the only thing I really don't want to do on a first date is go to somebody's house. I don't know you. So that's the one that I would most likely take off, is to go to your house. And to be honest, on a first date, I don't want to go to a family function, because
wait. So wait a minute. So you mean no clapping the cheeks on the first
not on
date?
the first date? I don't know you. Stranger danger.
No, I'm messing with you. Go. I'm messing with you. Go ahead.
And the crazy thing is, I got you one even better. That first date, I'm trying to meet somebody there. I don't even want you to come get me on the first date. I'm sorry. I'm that paranoid. I don't need you to know where I live at on the very first date.
Yep.
What happens if you turn out to be a crazy, and on the first date I realized you were crazy?
Yep.
Nah, where we meeting at? And then the other thing too is, like I said, I'm a little paranoid. I don't want to get in your car first for that first date either. I don't care how many times we done talked on the phone. I don't care how many times we didn't communicate beforehand. That first date is that first date. Me talking to you on the phone, I might be comfortable. Me talking to you in person, I may not be comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And and for me, that's a safety issue. I don't want to go anywhere where I can't pick up and leave when I want to. What happens if I go out on a date with you and you be like, I'm not ready to leave yet, and I got to sit there? Now, I know we in the world of Ubers and all of that kind of stuff, but when I started dating, it was called a taxi. Taxi wasn't going to be there in 5 minutes. Mm-hmm. So I prefer me having my keys to get up and leave if it goes sideways real fast.
Yep.
So
okay.
What it sounds like.
Okay.
Hold on.
Pause.
I'm gonna let.
I just want to see what Taylor said, okay? Because one of the things on the list is don't take me to church, right? Taylor said first date I'm taking for me was taking him to Bible study. Lady, you take me to Bible study, that's the last time you seen me. Okay?
It depends on how you get in this.
Well, that's too aggressive. Do you understand me? That's too aggressive.
If they met in church, their first date could be Bible study, though.
If they met in church, but okay.
Nah, for me,
if they met in church, Bible study might be okay.
What up, Victor? What up, Ryan?
Nah, I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind. What's going on, Vic?
No, that's not all the restaurants. That's the restaurants that you can afford. That's what they're saying.
But
who can afford?
Like, all right, so look at the restaurants we're talking about, right? These are all starter restaurants, okay? I'm not taking you to a 5-star restaurant if you're not my wife. It's not happening, okay?
Well, maybe
I don't know you like that.
Wife.
Huh?
Maybe these girls are trying to become their. You know how I feel about this, but I'm gonna just say that for the sake of the conversation. I think this is a crazy asinine list, but maybe she's trying to become somebody's wife. You know, I don't know.
By telling me that the Cheese Factory, Applebee's, I love Applebee's, Chili's, I love at Chili's. I don't mess with Chipotle that much. Olive Garden used to be the junk, but the movies, I can't take you to the movies. That used to be the go-to thing, right?
Right.
So I'm gonna throw some pushback on the movies. I'm gonna say the movies is iffy because if it's a first date, I want to be able to talk. You can't talk in the movies. So I see why the movies is on the list, because all we really gonna do is just sit there and watch whatever's on the screen. So if that's what you're saying, you don't want to go on a first date because you want to talk and communicate with somebody, I give you that. Movies could be a second or a third date instead.
Look, I'm still stuck on the Bible study thing, because if a woman took me on a first date to Bible study, I would gladly accept that.
Yeah. I'm gonna go inside and then I'll be right back because I have lots to say about this list right here.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
That tells me that your initial approach is different than what a lot of these modern women would how they would come at it. To me, that's a different approach.
So this is the thing on that one, though. I'm gonna give you some pushback, because how many other people you done brought to Bible study on first date? Now the people in Bible study have to talk about you, because now you bring all your first dates here, and everybody got to get grilled first.
But that don't mean nothing. You know how many guys, like, if this trick don't work, if this trick don't work on a woman, then hopefully it'll work on the next. There was this dude that literally took two different women on the same date. Come to find out, they were friends. And they literally was on there talking about the experience that this man took them on the exact same date. And here's another reason why I got to punch a hole in what you just said. Why do women say they want experienced men in the bedroom? Because they probably been around the block once or twice and, found out little tricks, this, that, and the third. Who do you think they're using the tricks on? You. Those are recycled tricks. So everything is somewhat recycled, so to speak.
I'm not saying nothing about the recycle. I'm okay with it being a recycled date.
No, but you said how many guys she took on this date.
Correct. My thing is, but think about it, right? Usually you include your church family once you start getting serious with somebody.
Okay,
so
but what if she
wanted
them
to Bible study? Think about it. If you bring in A to Bible study and A was the first date, A don't come up again. Then you bring B and C and D, and then people in Bible study, they start talking to you after Bible study, like, hey, what happened to so-and-so? The conversation was really good. Now you looking like you got egg on your face because you brought 7 different people to Bible study, and now they question it like, when we gonna have these conversations?
But Erica, that's one way of looking at it. The other way to look at it is, how about she's bringing the dude over there so that the people in Bible study can actually vet dude. You didn't think about that one, did you? So if dude don't show up because he got vetted, then and if anything, if she canceled dude right off the bat, I look at that as a plus, because that means nobody's wasting their time. He didn't spend no money on you to try and get the box, so cool. It is what it is. But I guess I know Gary, Gary, I saw your facial expression, so Smooth, I know you want to unpack, so whenever you're ready to chime in, knock yourself out. But Gary,
because
Gary, you might want to go ahead of me, brother.
Then I'll go. Listen, I'm gonna say this when it comes down to the church thing.
Okay.
I'm gonna play you like a fiddle. You take me to church first. I'm gonna play you. I'm gonna see how serious you are about that, having a leader, a church God-fearing man being your leader. I'm gonna challenge the hell out of you, because you're telling me that I want a God-fearing man, which means you're a God-fearing woman, which means you're submissive, you're loyal, you're agreeable, pliable, right? I'm going to challenge the hell out of you. Oh, so you want to take me to Bible study? Let's do some Bible study. Let's go. Let's see how long you can last. Because you're saying to me, you are campaigning. This is what I want. I want a God-fearing man to get married. You're pretty much saying, take me to the altar. I'm cool with that.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to see how serious you are. If I'm able to get you in the bed at any time, you are disqualified.
See, and the way I see it, that's a plus, because that means that nobody's time is being wasted.
Oh, I'm not wasting my time. I'm having fun. Listen, if you are the woman of my dreams, you're going to prove it in that time frame, right? You're going to prove it. But if I'm able to get the draws, I'm gonna look you dead in your eye right afterwards. I thought you was a God-fearing woman.
No, I get it 100%.
Wait, I get it. Because I'm a blast you all over the place. You say you're a born again virgin. Okay, let's see how long you can last.
I'm gonna jump in real quick if that's okay.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Go ahead, sister, because I don't have a problem waiting on this one. I do have a lot to unpack. So
I'm sure you do. I'm sure you do.
I'm gonna put this out here.
360.
I'm gonna put this out here real quick as far as the this interesting list, for these people. I don't know who came up with this crazy list. As far as the list, there's a few, huh?
Your sisters came up with this ridiculous
Who's
list.
Whose sister?
Y'all sisters. Y'all sisters. Y'all sisters. All right. Y'all sisters.
I don't know these women.
Your daughters.
So I'm not vouching for. First of all, let me be very clear. I'm not vouching for anybody. I don't know these people. They are strangers. I don't know who you're talking about when you say sisters. And I'm going to bring myself on the camera real quick because this sister, I don't understand. Me personally, I get it. Like some of the things on this list, I actually can get it. And I did say that to my husband too, Erica. Like if we're going to the movies, I don't mind. I love dinner and a movie all day. It's all good. But we can't talk. So I want to go somewhere that we can get to know each other. So if I'm looking at a screen, I mean, if you try to hold my hand, we're still strangers. Don't touch me. Like I need to know you. I don't know you. I'm not going out to the middle of nowhere to go take me on no hiking trip to drop me off on the road. We're not going on a long trip. I don't know you. You're a stranger. You're not taking me in the middle of no field nowhere and dropping me off or worse. So I'm not doing that. But some things on here, like I can understand a few of them. Very few. So like I was telling Gary, like if you're the kind of person, if you are, health enthusiast and you guys work out and all that kind of stuff, then it would make sense to go to the gym because that's your thing. I don't take me to no gym because I'm gonna look at you like I don't know what we doing at the gym. I'll go with you for the ride, but I mean, we could go to Zumba. But the gym, I'm not, I don't know as far as the gym. But like I said, if you guys are health enthusiasts, then the gym would make sense. You know what I mean? Like do something that is applicable for the situation. I think that that's a great idea if that's what y'all already do. Like if you're a physical person and I like the mountain, the indoor mountain climb thing or the iFly and stuff like that. If you guys are like, active, then I think all of that is great. But if not, I don't think it makes any sense. But, as far as everything else on that list, I think you're really arrogant. Whoever came up with this list, ma'am, girl, because that's a child. I think you're a very arrogant. I'm trying to say it a nice way. I'm trying to say it in a nice way. She may be of a certain age, but she's definitely acting like a little kid, a spoiled brat. Because how are you going to tell somebody that's a complete stranger? Y'all just getting to know each other. Don't take me to all of these 20 places. Well, ma'am, you and your girls are going to be going out in a minute because who's taking you anywhere with that attitude? Who's taking you somewhere? You trying to get to know him. And I'm supposed to technically kind of still be on bed rest and I'm out here working and dashing and doing different things. Like I've worked 3 or 4 jobs. We do what we do. So I don't understand why you telling him to pay for anything. Why can't you go Dutch? Matter of fact, you want to go to P.F. Chang's or wherever you want to go. Why can't you take him out and say, no, I got it. I'll pay. Why are you telling this man where to take you? You don't even know each other. You're going to be spending a lot of time at Mimosa Brunch on Sunday by yourself with your friends, because no guy is going to be taking you out anywhere.
Wait a second. Wait. She wants to go to P.F. Chang's instead?
No, I'm saying like did you notice on this list, there's no quote unquote, 5-star restaurant. These are regular everyday things. These are no 5-star restaurants. So if that's the case, and places. Yes.
Well, but that's what I was thinking. Like, okay, so when you look at the list, right? It's like, okay, so where do you want to go? Like, I made a joke going to the Met Gala, but that's realistically where these people are trying to go. You're trying to go to somebody's gala that's going to cost you $1,000+ a plate. Why? You're going to be upset, you're going to be hungry, and you're going to be bored. And and depending on who you are, you may know these people, but you also may not know these people. I don't even know if you're going to be able to hold a conversation with these people.
That's the thing. Like with the hookah bar and like, a regular bar or whatever the case. Again, if you're really trying to get to know this guy, I want to go somewhere that we can talk. Like, I want to get to know you. So how in the world, why can't we go get coffee? What do you me and me and Gary were talking about that, like, okay, what is that up there, Starbucks or whatever these bougie,
I'm like, you got to think about it. Coffee's not.
It's
I'm not a coffee drinker.
We could go. No, I don't drink coffee. Take me to the stop. We could get some ice cream, right?
Well, and that's I love
it. Wait, baby, hold up. They vetoed ice cream too.
As I said, they vetoed ice cream.
They vetoed ice cream. That was my signature move right there. That was my signature.
She's gonna be at home with her friends, watching Netflix and chill by herself, or she's gonna be having Sunday bottom whatever mimosas on a Sunday brunch because she's not going out with any man. I don't know what dating is like as far as that today, but for any guy that's listening, if any female comes at you with some list, that means she's on social media too much. Tell her have fun with your friends and some other fool that's gonna fall for that. Because I don't understand why we can't go to get some coffee. And if you want to take me to church, okay, I think that's great for a man to say he want to take you to church and she don't want to go to church. I'm sorry, she's old. Why can't you go to church?
You're right.
What's wrong with the Lord?
Okay.
Where?
So, but church can be different for different people, though.
I agree with that.
If we different denominations, that might be an issue because we might not have had that conversation first. You might be Baptist and I might be Pentecostal.
Right.
Our church is going to be different. So something like that.
People falling out in the aisle, that might be scary. It might be a little off-putting. I get it.
So I'm okay with church not being a first date.
Yeah.
It could be a later on date. Because like I said, that's how I feel about Bible study. I feel like when I start bringing you to church, people think we serious. So if we're serious, I want some kind of dates when we serious. I don't want
same
that as a
thing like with the list with the one bringing you to the family and all of that. Like that's a lot. Like we just met. What if I don't like you and now you brought me to see your mother? Like, oh no, I don't want to meet your mom today. Let's go for a few days, and I don't want to meet your aunts. I don't want to meet none of them. No, I think that's a bit much. Like some of these are realistic, but the rest of them I feel are very arrogant, extremely arrogant. And if that's the case, go have bottom mimosas with your friends. Take yourself out to eat. Go out to eat by yourself. Go to the bar like some other women go to the bar. They don't want to be bothered with guys. They will go sit at the bar by themselves, get themselves a cocktail, have a drink, have a food, and sit there the whole time by themselves. Somebody come get. I've watched it. Because Gary and I, we've gone out and had a great time, and we're getting back to that. But I've seen it, and I'm like, I know that's right. You don't want to be bothered. You came to have a good time and be around the public, but maybe you don't really want to be bothered with everybody. So that kind of stuff, I think, is fantastic. I think if that's the case, go ahead and do you and be by yourself with your mimosas, because I think this is a very arrogant list. That's my 2 cents. But
I'm agree with you. This list is making people single. I'm gonna just throw it out there. You don't want to do nothing on this list as a first date? That's fine. What about you have? Matter of fact, Shannon. What's Shannon? I think Shannon just said something the other day. Him and Ocho Cinco. He said, "Hey, I went on a date with somebody. I ordered something in the $40 range. The girl looking for what was it? Something that went with
lobster.
That go with lobster." And then he goes a condom. He said
contraceptives.
Or contraceptive. In my head, that's what I'm thinking right now. You threw out this list. That meant, and I'm not saying this I'm saying it as a joke, but when you start thinking,
we're not saying that as a joke.
No, but that's what I'm saying. In my head, I'm thinking at it as a joke. You a trick at this point. When you go to the point where you're not okay with getting a $20 meal or a $40 meal or a $5 coffee, because like you said, you're a stranger. I don't know you. You felt comfortable enough for the guy to sit outside your house, but you didn't feel comfortable enough for him to come inside the house while you got ready. When you were already late. I'm okay with that. But then you decided whatever he had planned wasn't going to work because you missed the reservations. Now he's looking for alternatives. To me, this is everything that's an alternative.
Yeah.
You got married and non-married people who will go to these places every day. Because realistically, it shouldn't matter what the first date is. If you have a connection, you got a connection with that person.
That's the thing. So I said she just want to go out to eat. She's not trying to get to know you. She wants to get to know how much you're spending on her and what you can pull. If that's the case, she makes reservations with all her friends and she can go by herself.
Can I chime in?
Go ahead.
Yes, go right ahead.
This is what I say. Regardless of regardless of this list and how women may feel when it comes to dating and all of these things, the bottom line is this, especially nowadays. I mean, you do have some gentlemen, this, that, and the third, that, it's required they'll take you out on a date. But the average man do not want to take you out on a date if it requires him spending money. Why? Because he doesn't know if the time and money he's investing in will have a return. What do I mean by that? Am I getting a second date? Are you really into me? What's going on? Because if we don't know to depict if you're looking for a free meal or not. I remember back in the day when I was dating this woman, whatever, we went out on a date, whatever, to go out to eat and everything like that. And then I started noticing a pattern. Yeah, we could go out to this place. Let's go to this place. Let's go to that place. Let's go to this place. Let's go. And I'm like, because this was a person I knew, and I was like, yo, let me give it a shot and see how it was, for us to start dating and stuff like that. All of a sudden, all these places, I want to go, let's do this. I was like, okay, if you want to go to these places, then you pay for it. That's what I straight up said. And soon as I said that, the conversation of going out to all these fancy places stopped, because I know you. You weren't a person that you was not going out left to right. And from my understanding and knowledge, you couldn't even afford these places. So now you want me to use my money, my time for you to go live your best life? Mm-hmm. And remind you, I wasn't even clapping the cheeks or nothing. So it's like, what are you?
I'm laughing at the comment. I'm laughing at the comments I was posting, not you.
So it's like,
no, I'm laughing at. I'm laughing at Wally. I'm laughing like, what type of investment is that? She's just hungry. That's all that was.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, I was like, yeah, I kind of see what's going on here, and deaded the situation or whatever. So yeah, but I guess 360, you could take the floor. The floor is yours, brother.
Well, here we go. So lists like these become clear demonstrations of exactly what is it about these women that make them so unwanted by Black men, and to a certain extent, just men in general in this country, because their thought patterns all seem to be the same. And I'm specifically talking about modern women, and in this particular case, modern Black women, because that's who made this list and the other list that we were talking about. It was modern Black women who did this. So let's not get that unclear. Let's not lose that in translation. It was them. It wasn't women from other races and ethnicities. No, it was our own modern Black women who came up with this ridiculous list and other lists like them. And keeping that in mind, lists like this, they become just an assortment of L's that these particular subsegment of Black women in our country just seem to just collect at an exponential rate. They just love to collect these L's. What L's am I talking about? They demonstrate the level of emotional ignorance or lack of intelligence, and to a certain degree, a lack of intellectual capabilities. Because when it's all said and done, over the last 30 some odd years, one of the prevalent complaints that these women specifically have made was that men don't take them on dates anymore. Specifically, Black men don't take them on dates anymore. But apparently, they can come up with a list and several other lists of specific dates that men, and specifically speaking, again, Black men, have taken them on. So they are liars at the very least. Or if not liars, outright hypocrites. But I digress. This is the same group of women who will profess to the nation that they're the least protected and least provided for. But yet, this list are amongst the most public places that anybody could ever go to. But instead of going to one of these public places where if things did go unfortunately to the left, that they might have some semblance of protection or being able to call for help. No, they don't want that. They would much rather go to some other expensive or secluded place. Yeah, that's smart. But let's look at at the list for a second. So, what is it? The first 6 are just restaurants. Restaurants, I might add, over the last 30 some odd years, were actually their suggestions. Because typically, men don't even frequent most of these places. We would be happy with a Whopper or a Big Mac. We would be happy with just some wings somewhere. We don't necessarily need to go to a Cheesecake Factory. That's not necessarily at the top of our to-do list. Applebee's, maybe. But honestly, not really. Most men in this country keep the fast food industry afloat. So if we're not necessarily even trying to go to these places on our own for ourselves, then obviously these places are at least within our esteem, seen as somewhat of an upgrade from what we would actually give ourselves. But apparently these women don't see that. The movies, that was always the intellectual date, because you would go to the movie and at the very least, the woman would be able to demonstrate that she can actually sit down and shut her mouth long enough to actually listen to something. And then afterwards, they could actually have an exchange of ideas. Because one of the biggest things that women used to say was that men don't listen. We don't listen to them. But this would have been something that they could have spoken on, that could have been that bridge of understanding. If these ladies actually took an interest in the movie, they could actually say what they liked about the movie, what they didn't like about the movie. She could actually expose or demonstrate what it is about her character that identifies or doesn't necessarily identify with the subject matter that she just finished watching, that he also finished watching too, and thereby give him some type of understanding about how she thinks, what her desires are, what caters to her, how to best love her, how to best make her happy. But instead of embracing that, well, chuck that to file 13, right? You know, so much for giving a man an actual pathway to even halfway understanding how she thinks and how she feels. As for the house, well, let's just keep it real. A lot of these ladies are just as horny as the men are, if not even more so. That's why some of these ladies will definitely give it up on the first date. But the only reason why that even made it to this list is because that same subsegment of women in this country want to portray this facade of being much more respectable women than they have ever been, because they will go on a date with this guy who actually asked them out on a date. Meanwhile, Pookie and Riri went straight to the house and got her all up in them guts. It's bullshit. But let's continue. Any fast food chain. Well, let's again.
Oh my.
This goes back to emotional and basic mental intelligence, because excuse me. The whole purpose of the first date is to introduce yourself to another person in such a way to even decide whether or not you want to continue even getting to know this person. This is somebody that you really don't know from a can of paint.
Right.
So it is ridiculous to even expect a man to come so deeply out of pocket for a woman that he barely knows. Which begs the question, exactly what quality of man even does that? You know, what kind of man just sees a woman that he just met and just digs deep in his pocket and just throws that out on the table, takes this woman to some ridiculously expensive restaurant that's not on this list, or some type of activity that's not on this list? What kind of man does that?
A man that
if a man has that, if a man has that kind of disposable income to where he can just splurge on some random woman like that, then it doesn't really bode well for that particular woman, because if his money is that dispensable, then more than likely she will be equally as dispensable.
Talk slow.
Because it doesn't matter to him. The money doesn't matter to a man like that.
Nope.
But let's continue. Buffalo Wild Wings, well, that's not exactly the cheapest place. Red Lobster, we know that's not cheap. A buffet. Now, the majority of women in this country border along obese, if not morbidly obese. You would think that taking a woman to a buffet, an American woman, an American black woman, you would think that taking her to a buffet would be like giving her a second Christmas day, where instead of having to pick and bemoan all these types of foods that she doesn't like, oh, I don't like that, oh, I don't like that. Well, bring her to a place where there's a wide assortment of things that she can easily choose from. No, apparently, even when you give a woman a buttload of choices, you're still wrong for even doing that. That's how counterproductive this particular subsegment of women are. Let's continue. IHOP, as if sisters don't like pancakes.
Right.
Denny's, same thing. Same thing.
Give me some pancakes.
Everything up there I would eat. What?
Who eats more chicken and waffles than black women? Hot damn a bell. But let's continue. The gym. Now, it's unfortunate that that same group that I just mentioned, who either borderline or obese or borderline on extreme obesity, a community that we can already accept has various issues with diabetes. You would think that as many women who love to want to get that BBL or get that BBL look, I mean, because let's face it, there's no shortage of videos across social media of black women going to the gym to fatten that ass. There's no shortage of videos of that.
Mm-hmm.
But you mean to tell me that and again, one of the biggest complaints that some of these women have given was that they found the men to be lazy and out of shape. So you would have a problem with going to a place where people literally get in shape. As superficial as so many of these women are, where they expect a man to have chiseled muscles and six-pack abs, they would have a problem getting with a man who frequents that type of behavior, that type of environment, to where he maintains that kind of body, to where if she sticks with him, she might get that wet and dressed body that she's been looking for the last God knows how many years, or might slim down to a size that she hasn't been since she was 14 years old. But okay. Oh, and also the gym is a very public place. So if anything went to the left, there's a plethora of people around who would stand up for her. Say, hey, is this guy bothering you? Oh, we're going to call the cops. So you know what? We might whoop his ass. Heaven forbid she put herself in a situation like that. No, she rather stay her obese self. She would rather live the Rasputia life. Good luck with that.
I'm gonna jump in real quick. When it came to the gym and like there was a few other places, the hookah, the bar, certain places. Other than it being loud, I think, speaking as a woman, not as these aliens that are coming out in this generation, but just in general, I think these people who came up with this list, because it's a very arrogant list from the as Gary says, from the rip, it's already arrogant. She is already at the point that she wants him to spend all his money, come out of his pocket, and she doesn't want competition. So she's not gonna go. She's not gonna go to the gym.
Let me cook, sister.
No, that's not the point. That's not the point that I was gonna make. Smooth. What I was saying is that I believe these women, they don't want competition, which is another main reason why they're not going to the gym, because there's other women at the gym that look way better than her. So she doesn't want to have that competition. That's one of the reasons I think she doesn't want to go to the gym.
That is true. That is true.
Wait a minute.
That's
you
a fair, that's a fair
if
point.
I go to the gym,
that is true.
This woman over here might show me up. Oh,
you know what? It's not even just that though. What if, like, think about it. You already said most of the people that probably would have said no to the gym could be me. What if you got limitations and you don't want to let him know you got limitations off the rip? So that the gym one is a touchy subject.
Yeah, but
isn't that the reason why I'm taking you to the gym, to see if you are worthy of my children? See, listen, y'all forget that men have standards that are way different from your own. I don't want a lazy ass bumble. I don't want to, if I'm looking to get with a woman for the purposes of procreation, I need you to be healthy. Okay?
Look, let's keep it a buck. Those women don't want to bring their fat asses to the gym. That's what it's really all about.
Nope.
And they have an issue with accepting that, yes, they may very well be built like Gabrielle Sidibe or Lizzo, and they try to convince themselves that they are all Beyoncés and Kelly Rowlands and so on and so forth. They tell themselves this bullshit that they are just as appealing as those other women. Now, don't get me wrong, they may very well be attractive in their own right, but that's not what they want to hear. They don't want to hear that they're attractive in their own right. They want to be seen as attractive in the same vein, the same light as your standard Instagram model, knowing damn well that they don't look anything like that. But heaven forbid that this particular man is honest enough to tell them that exactly where they fit, because if he tells them where they fit, or if he acknowledges or accepts where they really fit in that chain, then they don't have that same manipulative power over those men, because that's what it really comes down to with them. They want to exert this power over the men, being able to demand all of this special treatment that those other women are more privy to.
Damn, I agree with that.
Wow.
I do agree with that. Because it's all psychological, right? It's psychological warfare, especially when you're dealing with a woman. She's trying to get you to see her and only her, right? The worst thing that a man can ever have is one-itis.
No, brother. That's not what these women want. Because remember, I brought it down to a subsegment of Black women in our culture, and not all Black women. This is a very specific group of women in our culture, which unfortunately seems to be a growing part of this culture. You know, they may have started off as the minority of our general population, but it seems like they're starting to become the overwhelming majority of women in our culture who think this way, who behave this way. And
you know what? They're just the loudest. I don't think they're becoming the majority. I think they're the ones that are talking the loudest.
I would tell you, talk to the men, because we have heard enough sisters like you want to defend them. No, sister, don't defend them.
I'm not defending them. I'm not defending them. But
ma'am, when you say
they're becoming the louder ones. So they're the ones when you go on
see, you're not hearing
social
me.
media, they're the ones that are going to be the loudest.
You're not hearing me. This ain't about who's loud and who's quiet. It's what we see.
Correct. That's what I'm saying. The ones that are being seen are the ones being the loudest. The ones who would accept this list are not the ones on.
Again, you're not listening to me, sister. Sister, you're not hearing me. You're not hearing you're not picking up when I'm putting down. What I'm putting down is, despite what you say, despite this claim that it's just the loudest ones. No, it's the quiet ones too. This is what we see. This is our experience. And the problem is when we bring it to the attention of Black women, even Black women like yourself, who are halfway reasonable. You don't listen to us. You don't accept it. You still try to find ways to tell us, oh no, it's not as many Black women as you think it is. Oh yes, sister, it is, if not more. The problem is y'all don't see it. These are the same Black women that will call you a pick-me. That's what we're talking about. These are the same women who, they might not be so loud, but they might be in quiet complicity with those who are.
I hear what he's saying, and let me break it down for you. It's the same thing when it comes down to the pro-life, pro-choice thing, right? You may not agree with pro-life, but you're not really speaking against it either, because you like the idea of having the option. It's all about options. And that's the one thing that I've said many times. Like, so that's why I constantly say, yo, we need women to stand up and fight this stuff off. But we see a lot of women pulling back because what if I need it? And that's what it seems like to me. What if I need it? So I like the idea of having agency, even if I don't agree with it. It's having that loaded weapon. Oh, I won't use it on you. I just want to make sure I have it. Right. So that right there is what he's saying. And that's what am I in a ballpark or
you close, brother, because I'll put it another way. You see this list that we're talking about? The only reason why we're talking about this list isn't because of the loud sisters. Because if the loud sisters, who are the minority that you would suggest were promoting this, then it wouldn't be as near as viral as it's been. A list like this actually made Fox 8 News. It made the news.
It sure enough did.
So it's not some small minority. It's apparently a very large number of Black women who support this, who identify with this, who have promoted this, and they have not necessarily been the loud ones that you're talking about. So that's what I'm saying. Sisters keep trying to tell themselves and tell each other that this problem is limited to a smaller group of people than what it really is. And when you talk to the men in this country, they will tell you, oh no, sisters, this is what you look like. This is what you do. This is what you have represented yourselves to be. The collective of Black women has turned into dog shit. And it's been done so at their own hand. And as much as they want to blame us, we didn't put this list out. They did. We didn't promote this list. They did. We didn't agree with this list. We didn't identify with this list. They did. This is the image that they are portraying. They are portraying themselves as delusional, as selfish, as unreasonable, as the type of women who will put themselves in dangerous situations with questionable men. Because again, if a man is going to take a woman on some ridiculously expensive date on the first date and he knows jack squat about her, what kind of man does that? What is the moral implication of a man who sees his money as dispensable like that to just splurge it on some random woman? And what is his investment? What does he expect on the back end from that? Then there's also the moral implication of a woman who will put herself in a situation like that. Because only Prostitutes and gold diggers come at men like that. And when women demonstrate this type of quality, they tell us, whether it's their direct intention or not, they tell us exactly how little we even need to respect them, how little we need to regard them. They teach us that they are prostitutes, that they teach us that they are just as dispensable as any other woman, because they've taken something that should have been relatively priceless, which is their companionship and their sexuality, and they themselves have put a price tag on it. Mm-hmm. So, in other words, these women, they're saying, okay, well, guess what, buddy? You take me to Denny's, you can't get none of this cookie. But you take me to Salt Bay, where I can get one of those tomahawk steaks and a lobster on the side, yeah, I'll probably give you this box. You might have to do it. You might have to bring me that twice, because even they know. First time, that might be a gimme. Second time, oh no, you're going to come off that box. They know this.
In that aspect, I do agree with you.
They know this.
That are refusing this list, you're right. They're the gold diggers and the prostitutes at this point.
And before I forget, and this is the one that tickles me the most, and I'm actually kind of glad you all kind of spent some time on it. Church. Mm-hmm. Church. Many of these women have bitten on to the Tyler Perry fantasy. Oh, I need a God-fearing man. I need a God-fearing man. I need a man who loves the Lord. Okay. But the man is willing to bring you to church for the first date, and you throw it back in his face. Mm-hmm. So much for being a godly woman, huh? Mm-hmm. So instead of meeting this man and engaging him on a spiritual level amongst other spiritual people, and I think you said it, Wally, you said that the people in the community could actually help vet this person for her. So heaven forbid she actually take hold of the wisdom of the counsel of more experienced women in her community, who actually have a vested interest in her and her happiness and her prosperity. Heaven forbid she actually gives a damn about the people who give a damn about her. Instead, she says, "Oh no, that I don't. He better not take me to church on the first date." But you would rather spend time calling yourself getting to know somebody without really getting to know them. Oh, but by the way, you want a godly man. Well, how would you know he's so godly? What is it that you even think a godly man even does? Oh, that's right. They don't know, and they don't care to know. It's bullshit that they say because they think that by saying these things, it makes them look more respectable. Because if you notice, it's only the women who have lived the least godly lives who come back down the line talking about, I'm looking for a godly man. The only reason why you're looking for a godly man now, primarily between your 30s, 40s, 50s, or whatever, is because when you were out there in your 20s, you were having hot girl summers. You were having vocations. You were getting trains ran on you.
Wait.
You were getting flipped. You were getting flipped like a flapjack.
No, I'm gonna jump in and interrupt you right here, right now. We ain't gonna just jump past that. No, I'm gonna stop you. Full stop. I don't care. I don't care. Did he say whole cases?
They were having whole cases. They were out there being the biggest whore they could be, because they thought they could do it forever. They thought the opportunity to do so would last forever. They thought their youth would last forever. They thought their beauty would last forever. They thought men being attracted to them in that way would last forever. And then surprise, surprise, a decade or two later, maybe a few kids later, they find themselves right back in that same dating pool talking about they can't find a good man. Why? Because all the good men were snatched up by good women.
Yep.
So let me switch gears for a quick second, right? So let's just say, for the sake of argument, men abide by all these things, right? They abide by not taking the fast food, not getting coffee dates, so they look to take them to an expensive restaurant. And like Erica pointed out, you want to feel safe, so you want to meet them there, take your own car. So, ladies and gentlemen, especially the fellas for the panel, what would you do? You show up to a restaurant, you have plans with the woman, and this happens.
Why you got your child with me? So it wasn't part of the plan.
This is part of the plan.
It's not part of the plan.
You want to date?
I'm dating your child too. Oh, you wigged out. You wigged out. That wasn't. We supposed to eat our food afterwards. Go back to the crib. Next, I can't live.
First of all, we don't have to deal.
Come on, we going out. Yeah, we ain't doing this. I ain't even got the. Man, y'all tripping, bro. I thought I was finna do that. Man, y'all tripping. Tripped out. Yeah, let me out. Let me get up out of here. Let me get up out of here. I'm gonna hold the door for you, though. I ain't gonna do you like that. I ain't gonna do y'all like that. But you know, that wasn't part of the plan. That wasn't part of the plan. I'm with both of y'all. I don't even know you for real. See, that's why I can't be dating. I can't be dating for real. Cause ain't no telling what's really going on. Yeah, you on my page. You on my page. You on my page. Nah, I'm cool. I already got kids, baby. I ain't no stepdaddy. Hey, somebody ain't no stepdaddy. Stepdaddy season. Man, listen up.
It's stepdaddy season.
Stepdaddy season. Wow.
So
why?
Let me bring it back. Check out this vid. Check this one out.
And you finally leaving. Look, she finally. We're gonna follow you. Gonna make sure you get to the car. No, I'm following you now. Look, get to the car. Nope, get to your car. You going on my gram.
It gets better, guys.
Today. You going viral. You going viral. Yo, get in the car.
Oh no.
I'm waiting on my Uber anyway. What? You got more kids?
Bruh.
There was more kids in the car. I
was waiting. I said, she probably got some more. Oh my God.
How you in the restaurant and you leave the rest of the kids in the car though?
No, bro.
That's trifling.
Hey, you talking about some steak? You got how many kids in there? Oh, you got 3.
There was 3. Wait, but there's somebody in the front seat with the babies.
Yes.
Y'all can afford the car that y'all in.
Somebody the oldest kid was sitting in the car with the others.
Wow. That is crazy.
This what today's men have learned is that when it comes to these sisters, and I'm very specific when I say these modern sisters, so that hopefully sisters out there won't get things lost in translation or assume that I'm talking about all black women, because I'm definitely not talking about all black women. I am specifically talking about this group of black women who have this ideology. They're not looking for substantial relationships. They are looking to be exploitative of men.
Yes,
they're looking to see what they can get. Bottom line is a predatory mindset. Mm-hmm. They are preying on men, thinking that these men are so quote unquote thirsty that they feel they can just get any and everything out of these men. They want to be parasites, leeching off of these men's assets, leeching off of these men's money, and don't want to give anything in return. They think they go about it like con women. That woman in that video right there, she was a con artist. She was trying to run a game on that guy. And kudos to him, because he was smart enough to not even indulge that nonsense. As soon as he saw what the play was, he got up and exited stage left. However,
think about it. how many men would have just stuck around and then afterwards like, yo, I'm never calling her again? You get what I'm saying? Like they would have just went through with
The
it,
son husband.
followed through, so
The son husband.
so they don't get shamed. Yeah.
Yeah, the son husbands, the so-called incel men, those men, the men who were still bought into this bullshit doctrine of gender normative in this age where gender normative just no longer applies. Because let's be real about it. What we're talking about are a generation of men who have been raised primarily by 2 to 3 generations of women who professed that they are equal to men, if not superior to men, that they don't need men, that they are getting the bag, that they are strong, independent. And here it is, they don't seem to demonstrate any of that strength or independence. Instead, what they demonstrate is concrete and consistent dependence upon the assets of men. And that woman in that video was a perfect example of that. Instead of her working and paying for her own kid's meal, she's trying to entrap that guy into paying for her meal, the other kid's meal. And you better believe if he was a sucker enough to pay for her and that one kid, she probably would have stepped it up and tried to get a doggy bag or something for the one still in the car.
Yep.
Or this is what I suspect she would have done. She would have over-ordered for herself and then eaten her little portion of it and then taken that and brought that to disperse again.
No, Smooth. She wouldn't have done that. She would have just been bold enough and said, I need to order extra food for my kids that's in the car.
Oh, that too.
Because if she was bold enough to show up on the date with the child, what would not make her feel emboldened enough if he would have stuck through and say,
don't get me wrong. Yeah. I'm not saying that type of action would have been above her. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is women like that show a prowess at trying to finesse different things. They consistently try to see exactly how far they can go. They test those borders. They test those boundaries to see how thirsty that particular man is. If he's of more of a conventional gender normative, and when I say gender, in this sense, when I say gender normative, I mean he had a daddy in his life that was a masculine man that wasn't going to put up with that nonsense. Well, more than likely he wouldn't put up with that nonsense, or he wouldn't put up with as much of that nonsense as, say, one of your typical son husbands raised by one of these modern women who would have taught him, well, this is what you do for a woman. You're just supposed to do this for women. And why? Why does he have that type of, well, men like that have that type of upbringing? Because instead of teaching their sons how to deal with these modern women, those women taught their sons how to be the men that they wish they would have had.
Yep.
They impose their will, their desires, their aspirations. They impose their sense of saviorism onto their sons. So
I
that
would have to agree with that. I would have to agree with that. Yep.
So that while the son is under her roof, he's fulfilling the role that her prospective mate would be doing for her, which is exactly why, and even in those relationships, if the man were to ever find a woman worth her salt, his mother has a problem with her.
Because she thinks she's getting replaced.
No. Not getting replaced. Not getting replaced. She thinks that this woman is stealing her man.
Correct. That's why I was.
That's replaced.
Yeah, that's the same. That's exactly what she means.
There's a reason why I made that distinction. There's a reason why I make that distinction, because the reason why I say that is, if you say that she thinks this woman is stealing, if you say that this woman thinks that the other woman is replacing her, oh no, she already has it in her mind this other woman could never replace her.
That's true.
That's what she tells herself. Oh, she'll never be good enough. She could never be a bad bitch like me. That's what these women tell themselves. They already see themselves beyond compare to the other woman. But it's still about the resources. It's about the access.
Well, because think about it too. A lot of times when the child grows up, and let's say they were supporting stuff in the household, if they decide that they're moving out of the household, a lot of times it starts to trickle down where they're not doing as much anymore because they're now starting to support their own. Those moms get upset.
Yeah,
those moms get real angry
because they lose access. Resources. They lose access to their son's assets. They lose access to their son's time. They lose access to their son's service.
Attention.
So that's why I say that they feel like the other woman is taking their man. Yep. She don't even really acknowledge the other woman is even really being another woman. She doesn't care where her son is sticking his little tallywhacker. She doesn't care about that. What she cares about is where her son is devoting his time and his assets. And that's the difference. That's why I made that distinction.
And any woman that puts that in jeopardy is an enemy to her, because she may not feel that, you know, like you were saying, these women are so delusional that they think that, you know, she's the main this and the main that and whatever, the queen, whatever. I mean, I don't know how you're a queen, you don't have a king, but it just doesn't make any sense. But, you know, it's not that. It's the fact that she's intimidated by someone coming in and taking him away from her and taking her resources, like Erica said, and that is exactly what Erica said. So, Mr. Smooth, I have to give you some pushback. I disagree on that. I agree with what Erica said. She is upset because that woman, that mother, has put her son in the place of her man.
Yeah.
And so that woman is upset because now this girl is coming in and taking her man away from her when he's supposed to be her son. That's a major, and I'm going to say this for sure.
That's what I said. She took away the man.
Major in the African American culture. That's a big. I mean, that's a fact right there.
Well, sister, the point I was making is that the mother is not even acknowledging the other woman as even necessarily being a woman or even being true competition. She doesn't see her in that same light. She sees her as just somebody who's taking access, somebody who's taking the access that she used to have to her son. That's what she's taking away. She doesn't see her as a sexual threat because she's not we can hope that she's not having sex with her son. But she doesn't see her as a sexual competitor. She sees her as a competitor to the assets, to the time. That's what comes into threat. And women like that, they're actually a great enemy to themselves, because we've seen this story play out time and time again, where the old matronly woman has to depend upon the kindness and care of her son and her daughter-in-law. And in many cases, it's the daughter-in-law who brings the mother-in-law to her doctor's visits and see to it that she has all these different provisions she has in her elderly years, while the husband is at work providing for the family and providing for the mother. We've seen this play itself out over generations, but for whatever reason, it's this current generation of women who try to deviate from that, who try to get into this son-husband relationship with their sons, and they interrupt the flow of all this. You know, they've always been mama's boys. You know, that every culture has had mama's boys, but these sisters take it to a whole nother level, to where they all but ensure that when they reach their elderly years, that not only will they not have their sons to take care of them, but they won't even have their daughter-in-laws to take care of them either. In many cases, they've done everything to leverage to make sure that their sons never even have a productive marriage in the first place. So there's never even going to be a daughter-in-law to help take care of her. They bring about their own destruction, and that's what they're not seeing.
Remember that video that we played where the guy was like, the mother went and got the paternity test for his kid, and she was like, I did us a favor and all of this stuff like that. Yeah, she was protecting her asset. She was protecting her asset. That's pretty much what it comes down to.
but to be honest, when he said that, that's what was going through my head.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, I remember that story.
Talk about us. I did this for us. This for us.
All right, I'm gonna play the list. I'm gonna pull up the list that women put together, saying these would be reasonable dates, first dates that men can put them, can go to, can take them to. And my God, oof. So without further ado, here's that list. And somebody quoted, places these delusional bees think you finna take them on the first date. The first spot is Ruth Chris. Erica P, I think we got to hit that up because Ruth Chris is in Ocean
it's in New
City,
York.
Maryland.
It's in Ocean City, Maryland. It's one in Ocean City. But I remember
it's in Berlin. Yeah, Berlin, which is Ocean City, Maryland. But
I see reserve a table.
Yeah. So back in the day, I've gone to
I just pulled it up.
So I've been to a Ruth Chris before. They are expensive get up.
We don't need to go there. Next, moving on. Chris Ruth.
And the food don't even be that great. It'd be okay.
What was that? What was that conversation we had last time, Gary? A well-traveled woman.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, you could cross that off. Ruth Chris. All right. Yeah. Moving on. Swimming with dolphins. Really?
First of all, when you getting that? Okay, so think about it, right? Dolphins are only in one place. Let me
go through the list first. Relax.
Go ahead.
Skydiving, helicopter rides, Chart House, Morton Steakhouse, Crawford Chop House, Jamaica, to the bank to withdraw all your money for them.
What?
That of course is a joke. That of course is a joke or whatever. To JEA, so you can pay the light bill, car dealership for a Hellcat. That of course is a joke. TAE and ATL for wig install. Dr. Miami for a BBL.
Ooh.
So some of them, you could tell some of them are being facetious, but these restaurants, yeah, that's real.
Yeah. Okay, so I don't like none of these places.
Well,
at least not for first date. I'm sorry. Each one of these places got strings attached, and I don't know if I want them strings attached for these kind of places. I'm sorry. That just what's going on in my head right now. Like these people are delusional.
My impression is that this particular list was probably made as a joke by a man.
Yeah, me too.
That's the impression I get from this list. It's hard to take this list even seriously because
no, definitely.
I would hope so. Off
the rip, what killed it for me. Hold up, what killed it for me was swimming with dolphins. As much as black women don't want to get their hair wet,
right?
Yeah,
that's exactly what I was going to say. You act like these women really gonna go get their head wet. Ain't nobody gonna go swim with no dolphins. If it then cost you $400 to $1,500 to go get it installed, they not damaging that. They trying to get they
$400 to wait. $400 to $1,500 to get an install. What?
Listen. First off, even though this
is that how much it costs.
That is really how much some of these installs cost.
Let me ask this question
now.
Let me ask this question before we even unpack this, right? Granted that we just said that these places are funny and you know, a man might have wrote this. Well, a man probably wrote this list as a running joke, right?
Oh, the
But
sisters definitely ran with it.
I guarantee you, if you offer these places,
they're not
not
going to deny
one
you.
woman is gonna say, "Oh, that's too expensive. Let's go somewhere else." No, they would accept this with no problem. Even if they're not going to swim with dolphins, they would want the experience of going to whatever fancy place that you're going to go to. Because of course, if you're going to swim with dolphins, it most likely requires a fancy place that will allow you to do this, whether it's a vacation or tourist spot or whatever the case may be. So would the women actually say no to this list? So it's like, no, that list is too bougie, but I'm not gonna say no. It's kind of like the loaded weapon.
Totally, I see. I'm a disagree with you on that one.
Okay.
Yeah, there are plenty of women that are going to say no to this list because they, just like Erica P said, there's no man that's willing to do any of these things without strings attached, right? So there, you know, you got dudes.
Whoa.
Wait, listen. Buy me a car, a Hellcat. I mean,
unlimited access. I'm not even beat.
Gary,
you going to take it? You going to take a Hellcat, Erica?
Heck no. I take a Hellcat. First of all, I'm gonna be like, what all is entail? These Hellcats run anywhere from 70K or better.
Erica,
I know my cars. That means I just sold myself off to somebody.
You literally have.
I don't want to
literally have women who would be like, "Oh, I will get this and expect to give you nothing in return." You literally have women that
you got pretty privileged women who will accept this stuff. You will. They will take it and they will run with it.
Are you serious?
Yes.
You got women who will.
Wait, sister. This is why I wish you would stop injecting yourself into this type of conversation.
Yes.
Because and that's why I specifically said that we're talking about presumably a subsegment of our Black female community. You would not be part of that. So the things that you're talking about have nothing to do with what those women think, how they behave. Those women have been indoctrinated in the American whore fantasy.
Correct. And that's why I said people would accept this stuff. No, I would not. They will.
They've been indoctrinated in 50 Shades of Grey. Even if you look at that particular list, half of the stuff on that list is reminiscent of 50 Shades of Grey. The expensive restaurants, the skydiving, even the swimming with the dolphins, going to Jamaica. This is the modern day whore fantasy, being flued out somewhere, having expensive meals that they can't even pronounce half of the stuff that's actually on the menu. Just seeing a man just go to the bank and withdraw excessive amounts of money just to throw at her, presumably with no expectation or anything like that, because he's such a nice guy. Yeah, okay. But then at the same time, being the same dude that's going to take her back to the place and smash her brains out, with his man meat, and give her the thorough slutting out that she desires. All of this is the culmination of the modern whore fantasy. And that's exactly what it is. It's a fantasy. It's not real. This is what they aspire to. The only problem is now, as opposed to what women used to do back in the day, where they just saw this as literature, where they just saw it as romance. Can I say the P word on here? The PORN word?
We know what you're talking about.
But anyway,
romance explicit content.
Yeah, they would see it as explicit literature. Yeah. These women, they see it as a how-to. They see it as today's version of being a slut for dummies.
Or they see it as this is common living for the average woman.
Yeah, for the common whore, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. No,
but here's the rub with that. These women are telling themselves that the experiences that are experienced by the most highly sought after, the most beautiful, the most highly valued whores is somehow going to be their experiences. No, ma'am.
They actually think they're entitled to it. They actually think they're entitled to that experience.
That's that pretty privilege.
But they don't have that pretty privilege.
But no, but that's what I'm saying though. Those are the women who think they have pretty privilege.
You literally have women whose face look like it got hit by Amtrak, and they think they should get these things.
Exactly, that's the difference. See the women with pretty privilege. That's their life. They're actually getting that. They have multi-million-dollar men who are going to spend that kind of money. You know, these are the women that we see on Victoria's Secrets and Sports Illustrated and used to be in Playboy magazine. Those women can actually elicit that from those particular men because, again, those men, they have so much money they don't care. They don't. If they take a woman to Ruth's Chris, but you know they buy her a $500 steak or something like that, well, what do they care? To them, that might be like putting a nickel in a gumball machine. They don't care. But these women aren't. They can't attract men like that because let's just face it. They're literally not pretty enough to get those men. They're just not.
And that's what I was gonna say. They want that pretty privileged lifestyle, but they're delusional. Because if you had pretty privilege, everything that I'm saying is a joke on this list, you would have had that and then some. Think about it. That group share the same women. They share the same group of women. Unfortunately, because anytime you look at any tabloid, you see the same 50. I'm gonna say 50, and it might be a little more than that, but you got the same 50 being passed around by that group.
Oh yeah, look, I'll give you a perfect example. Nicole Murphy.
Yes,
Nicole Murphy was getting passed around from Eddie Murphy to some football players to a bunch of athletes, and to this day, she's still not married, but you always see her with a certain caliber of man
because she plays in that arena, even though she's definitely older than most in that arena now.
And she's
in that arena,
and she is still a bad woman. She is bad.
Correct. And people don't realize she in her 50s and she still looked that great.
Here's one.
So she put in the time and the effort for that.
Or here's a better example. Babyface's ex-wife. Babyface's ex-wife is another classic example. She went straight from Babyface to Eddie Murphy. He almost married her. He gave her an engagement ring and everything.
Here's an element that everybody is missing to the puzzle too, because everybody is getting this lavish lifestyle from social media. A prime example of an element that I'm adding to the situation, to this whole thing of them thinking they're supposed to live this lavish life from looking at celebrities on social media. Do anybody know what's going on with British Williams, the woman from Basketball Wives, who's basically about to do 4 years in federal state prison?
No.
Oh,
yeah. Okay.
If you don't know what's going on, basically this woman was doing fraud and posting online a lavish lifestyle. She did like 9 EID applications during the pandemic. 4 or 5 PPP loans and got over hundreds of thousands of dollars. Meanwhile, she's flashing this stuff online that she's buying all these bags, this, that, living a very lavish lifestyle. And even after the feds basically indicted her and everything, she still was doing these scams. So it's like you see many other celebrities that are getting cracked down, women that are posting these lavish lifestyles online, thinking like, oh, if I'm twerking and doing all this ratchet stuff, it's going to bring me money, but yet they're broke and pulling scams to actually make ends meet or to survive and able for them to post these lavish lifestyles. So what is that doing? Yes.
Yep.
So what is that doing to the women who are eating this stuff up and thinking, oh, if I degrade myself or post myself this way and all of this stuff, money and riches and all these glamour, rich men are going to flock to me. But little do you know, you're being fed a lie.
You know, there was a
That's an
documentary
element that we don't have.
There was a documentary that came out, I want to say, during the late 90s, Pimps Up, Hoes Down.
Yep.
And if I'm not mistaken, one of the pimps on there, he gave a great breakdown as to what his purpose was. He put it right out there. You give a hoe money, all she's going to do is spend it.
Yep.
She's not going to save it. She's not going to invest it. She's not going to do anything truly substantial with it or anything positive with it. She's just going to spend it. But here it is, me as her pimp. She gives me her money. I make sure that she doesn't go hungry. I make sure that she's clothed. I make sure she has a roof over her head. I do all these different things. Now, you would think that would have aged badly, especially in this age of empowered women or female empowerment. You would think with all these women claiming that they're getting the bag, that they would be doing so well for themselves, wouldn't you? But here we are. Here we are where being a prostitute has all but become the default setting for today's popular woman, whether it be the women who used to advertise themselves on websites like Backpage and Tagged, or women who are now on OnlyFans, or who went full on camera corn back in the day. It's what they're doing right now. That's why all this stock culture is becoming so prevalent. It's why the media itself is promoting this type of behavior. But at the end of the day, nobody's really reinforcing this truism that once you kind of let that genie out of the bottle, that's it. Once these women indulge in that type of behavior, it's kind of hard to walk that back. So far, the only women who have ever even half-assed successfully walked any of that back have been the women who have married wealthy men like the Kardashians, like the women you might see on those Real Housewives shows. And now
jokers still be scammers too.
Hold up. And now even that has transformed, because at least before, those women used to actually be wives. Now they're just random broads who are on Real Housewives shows. They're not even housewives. They've never been wives, some of them. But they're just there. They're simply paraded about because, and to your point, sister, they speak loudly. They promote this, they loudly promote the dysfunction. They loudly encourage it.
It's so funny, but that's the one reason why I stopped watching most of those shows, because they weren't wives. I remember maybe when some of them first came out, I was like, all right, so the different wives of all of those, it was a whole bunch of them. That one I didn't get into, but I think like Basketball Wives at one point I did watch a couple episodes, and I'm like, okay, so the only 3 of y'all wives and the rest of the 9 that's at these tables talking or not. Okay, I ain't watching the show no more. I think it was like one about like they tried to come out with one for like football player wife. Yeah, that one wasn't in either, because they weren't wives. A lot of them was girlfriends, or they were engaged but never became a wife. And I'm like, well, if I'm watching a show about wives, I want them to be wives. I don't want them to be anybody else except that. And then they had one that just had everybody was an ex-wife. I'm like, so you was a wife and you're not a wife anymore, but you still using a name and you still talking. Nope, I don't want to watch that foolery anymore either. But I'm like, and I think that's where a lot of this stuff comes from. You start looking at these people, looking at the gram or watching these shows, thinking that's real life. Like this stuff ain't somebody's publication where they done rented some of this stuff, or they didn't think about it. If I can get the rich to wear, I'm gonna give it to you for free. That's gonna get some of these people to go spend their hard-earned money on it. You trying to live their life, and you ain't got 2 nickels to rub together. But then you want somebody to fund this lifestyle. I'm sorry. It's not going to always happen like that. It's going to be one or two in a billion that's really going to be able to go from mediocre to that life.
Well, let's take a look, sister. Now these women have alienated themselves from that type of lifestyle because they've demonstrated that when it comes to men who are actually making that kind of money, there's no purpose in getting women like them. These women have collectively given the institution of marriage a black eye. Black marriage has already been pretty much de-incentivized for men over the last 40, 50 plus years, but never to the level where it is now, to where men are saying, you know what? Why should I get married? Why should I get married to a woman who may just be playing along to get along right now, just to get my good graces, just to convince me that she's worth marrying, only to give me the same business that Tyrese ex-wife gave him, or get the same business that Russell Simmons ex-wife gave him, the same business that Dr. Dre's ex-wife gave him. If anything, what we're seeing is a consistent trend where we as men are told that it's till death do us part. But when it comes to the women, it seems to be till death, till you're unhappy. You're married until you're unhappy, or you're married until you think your man is not spending enough time with you, or you're married until there's some other arbitrary reason or thought of missing something or not getting as much attention as you think you should get. You're not getting as much of the man's time. No, that is discouraging for men. That is telling men, you know what? It's a bum deal. Don't even get into it.
Speaking of marriage, I got a crazy statistic for you. We all know the mathematical equation that I'm just trying to see if I could pull up the information to have it readily to show exactly what I'm speaking about. But we all know the mathematical equation that 70% of divorces are initiated by women, right?
Mm-hmm.
We all agree with that stat. So here it is right here. Share the screen. All right, let me bring it to the forefront. So right there, we all agree that 77% of divorces, 69% of divorces are initiated by wives, right? And some of the main things that women like to point up when it comes to these divorce matters is infidelity and all of this stuff, right? But infidelity be one of the main reasons that they say is the cause of them being divorced. But what if I told you, if we take it to the other spectrum and say, well, women are marrying women with the LGBTQ community, right? So in that case, the numbers should be dramatically different, correct?
Nope.
If women are saying that, yo, men are the problem and all of this stuff, right? Then if women are marrying women,
the divorce rate should be zero.
Yeah, it should be zero.
Or at the very least,
it's going to be worse.
Zero as possible.
Well, check
it's going to be
out.
worse.
Check this out. Divorce rates for lesbian and gays. According to the data from the Office of National Statistics in 2019, 56% of same-sex marriages were between women. However, the divorce rate for lesbians was much higher, with 72% of same-sex divorces in 2019 coming from lesbian couples, about 3 times higher than gay male couples. The lesbian divorce rate was 78% in 2016, 74% in 2017, 75% in 2018. So,
women have never liked each other that like.
That's what I was the only one who said that. Y'all always like it should be lower. No, in my head, it was like these women don't like each other. Right. I knew it was gonna be worse.
So my thing is, if men are so much the problem, why can't you deal with yourself? Evidently, that means that whole argument of infidelity is a farce, unless women cheat just as much or higher, because the percentage of women divorcing other women is higher.
What it is this generation of women don't take marriage seriously.
Hold on 1 second, Miss. I'm gonna jump in real quick and I'm gonna come off. I love this topic tonight because these women are very arrogant. It just proves the women of today, these aliens that are jumping around out here. And I wanted to say that last list, it probably was a hoax or like a joke or whatever.
Yeah.
A good majority of it, I think, would be true because they're talking about the BBLs in Atlanta and that wig install and certain things. I think some of it, they're to it. At the end of the day, for me, as I'm looking at the aliens of today, this new modern woman, as a, 80s, 90s, kid growing up and all of that, and looking at what it is now, even from the 70s, because I really don't feel like I was born in the right era. I feel like I should have been born in like the 50s or 60s. But at the end of the day, this woman of today, this thing that's walking around of today, it doesn't matter if she likes dogs, cats, goats, same sex. It doesn't matter if she likes the opposite sex. It doesn't matter. This thing that's walking around here today is very self-absorbed, selfish, arrogant. She wants what she wants, how she wants it. And if you are not on her page, you are the problem. It does not matter. That's how I see these alien women walking around today. So if you're not taking her to P.F. Chang's or whatever place you call that restaurant that I've never heard of before, I think it's a geographical thing too, because out here in the Midwest, there's some good places. You can take me someplace that gives out bibs and napkins. We about to eat. I don't care about all that stuff. But, at the end of the day, that thing that's walking around today is very, very self-absorbed, and it's all about her. It's like narcissism on, not to say narcotics, but like it's on steroids. Like it's all about her. It doesn't matter whether she is attracted to women. It doesn't matter if she's attracted to everybody. It doesn't matter. It has everything to do with you feeding her ego, you being subservient to her, you being the servant. Everything is about her. So I would venture to say, with the men especially that are out here and looking to find somebody special, I would just vet these aliens that are walking around. I am sad to say, but I do understand those that want their passport and they had enough. But I think it's a generational thing. I really do, because the ones that are coming up, again, the aliens of today in this country, it's like run and run far away. Go out with your homies, deal with her accordingly. Pray a lot, even if you at church, because some of them creep up in there. I would say
creep. What you mean creep? Half of them came from church.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I just feel like proceed with extreme caution, because it's dangerous out here, and you think you just trying to, because a lot of for the most part, men are simple. They don't don't require a whole lot, and it's just what they require is just stick to that. But this thing that's walking around here today, they're vicious. A lot of them are extremely dangerous and can cost your life. Whether, God forbid, it be your actual, mortality, or your credit, your reputation, everything. So I would just say be very careful, because, it's dangerous out here these days. Not to be, negative, because I'm not a negative person. I just really, and the fact of the matter is, it's not the same world that we used to live in. It's not the same country we used to live in. And let her go get the bottom of mimosas by herself with her friends, with herself herself.
But sister, this is what I'm actually trying to get you lovely ladies to understand. Y'all are late to the party. We've already had these types of discussions and determinations and judgments amongst ourselves already. Y'all are just getting a tail end of this.
No, sir, I'm
That's
late to the party. I got to jump in on that. I'm going to give you some pushback. I disagree with you.
okay. Well, let me tell you what I mean, because I'm trying to
I'm
tell
not
you
late to
exactly
the
what I
party.
mean when I say that.
No, I'm just gonna interject and disagree with you.
Okay.
It's not so much being late to the party; it's being invited into the conversation and being behind the camera and being able to not care enough about what these people are. You know, the keyboard and text warriors and all of that. They like to talk a whole lot. But if we were out at Applebee's or something like that, they wouldn't have nothing to say. You know, it's being involved and welcomed into the conversation. As women and as wives, I speak for myself. You know, I jumped off this ledge with my husband years ago, and and thankfully we're all still here on the channel, and we're talking to whoever will listen. You know what I mean? I get where you're coming from, but I do disagree with you on that.
I haven't finished saying what I was saying, sister. You cut me off. You don't know what I was going to say. You just immediately push back.
Say what you were going to say, 360.
What I was going to say is that we have heard so many of our sisters try to give us the exact same advice that you were posing just then. And I'm saying you're late to the party because we've already covered that. The men in this country are advanced from that. That's why there is a red pill movement. That's why there is a MGTOW movement that's already been in place for a number of years. And now we see the Save Yourself Black Man movement, where the men are doing, the men have taken it way beyond just being cautious and just going to other countries. Even the passport bro movement, we've essentially passed that too. Now we're finding all those different movements starting to congeal into one specific movement where American men, not just necessarily black men, but American men have been completely disillusioned with the institution of marriage, and they are starting to see that it's better or cheaper to just pay for what they want, pay for this moment in time with some of these women, as opposed to opening up themselves to all types of liability, all types of loss, all types of heartache, even trying to navigate through all these women. It's just that bad, sister. And that's what I'm trying to get across. For the American sister, specifically American sister, a lot of them are going to be lost causes. A lot of them. Not all of them, but a lot of them are going to be lost causes. There might be some hope for the younger generations. There may even be some hope for some women in that 30 to 45 age bracket. But for a lot of those older women, they can already hang it up. For these younger women who still have some hope, the only hope they have is to unlearn a lot of this pro-feminist ideology, or else they're really going to have to demonstrate exactly how strong and independent they really are.
How are they going to do that? How are they going to unlearn that stuff, right?
Necessity.
But here's the thing, right? Men pretty much know at this particular point, my money is king. I can get whatever one I want with the money that I got. If I make enough money, I can have you. Patrice O'Neal said it the best. He said, if you knew that I had $1,000 in my pocket, and that's what you was after, I'll give you the $1,000 just to see what you do with it. And then that'll tell me who you are and what you really are after, right? So most of these women can't say no to the $1,000. They can't say no to it. So
and now I don't even take the whole 1,000, because see, what they're not realizing is they themselves are overly saturating the dating market with themselves. There's too many of them who have this hand-stretched ideology where they expect the man to just do everything for them, or they expect the man to just pay for them. And you know, if you got like maybe the prettiest of the pretty women, and they make a relative small minority of women coming with that type of ideology or behavior, well, yeah, they could pretty much ask for what they want. They can actually get men to pay that price. But when you have so many women who are acting the same way, to where if you don't get with this woman, well, you can get that with that woman over there. And let's just be real. Even some of the prettiest of the most pretty women are finding difficulty attracting certain men. So now everything is bumping down. The price is dropping. So now some of the most average men can now afford some of the prettiest of the pretty women. And if they can afford those women, then why on God's green earth would they open up their wallets to the mediocre women or to the women who will be seen as 2s and 3s? They're not going to do that. The only way they're going to give some money to those 2s and 3s is if those 2s and 3s become the more affordable choice. So again, the prices are dropping like dropping like all hell right now. American women just do not have this leverage that they think they have. They used to have it. They had it 40 years ago. It's not like that anymore. And what's making it change at an exponential rate is what Gary said, that the men are starting to realize the value of their dollar. They're starting to realize exactly how much these women actually need them, even though we spent decades being told that we weren't needed at all.
Pretty much there's a bidding war going on, but the bidding war is who can go the lowest. Who can I get for the lowest price?
Boom.
That's the best way to simplify it. So
there it is.
And when the market is so oversaturated, here's the thing. It even affects the pretty of the pretty, like you said, because even if the pretty of the pretty can get a person who has money to spend, if that person in his mind happened to be frugal at that given time, he's going to go to the next prettier than pretty woman and see if he can get a lower price on said,
yes, sir.
I'll just say on the goods. So if I can spend $900 as opposed to you wanting $1,000 for this restaurant or fancy place I take you, I'm gonna take the $900. Oh, wait a minute, you're offering $7? You'll take $7? Oh, all right, good. No, you're taking $500.
Exactly.
Come on. Keep driving the price lower and lower and lower.
If I can buy the latest Mercedes-Benz from one dealer, and then this other dealer will sell me the exact same top of the line, right off the assembly line Mercedes-Benz, but he sells it to me $10,000 cheaper. Which one you think I'm going to buy?
Yep. And you
that's
know what's
the situation we're in.
But the scenario is even deeper than that, brother. The reason why I say it's deeper than that is because when you're walking into the lot with your fancy suit on, all the other dealers, their owners are standing outside looking at you going to the dealer.
Yes, sir.
So as soon as you come out, they're like, yo, come here. What price did they offer you? You know what I'm saying? So it's a bidding war. Yeah, it's a bidding war. So it's not just you going in there and then you walk into that. No, they're like, yo, come here. I can give you a better offer. I can give you a lower APR than that dealer. So it's a bidding war because when you got the money, they're coming to you because you're the high roller. So yeah. Yep. It's a saturated market. If the P was a stock, it would plummet.
Yo, isn't that what
it would be? That's what's happening stock.
That's what. Yeah, that's exactly what Dave Chappelle said years ago. He said if it was a stock, it'll be plummeting right now because y'all done flooded the market with it. And it's exactly what y'all did. They flooded the market with it.
But Gary, here's the sad part about it. The sad part about it is men actually gave the women an out with one simple question. What do you bring to the table?
Oh,
yes.
We asked them, what do you bring to the table?
They squirm when you ask that question because they do not know. They don't know. They've never. Well,
even when they answer the question, even when they answer it, the only thing they tell us is they bring pussy. That's the only thing they tell us.
Yeah.
Or they offer a service that you could get from a maid a nanny, stuff like that.
It all boils down to
you mean the cooking and cleaning that they say they don't want to do anyway?
Yeah.
And here's the kicker too. It has been said like what it is, like the correct answer, but why am I gonna give that answer? I'm not gonna give the answer because that's just gonna give you access to scam brothers.
Yep.
So I will never tell the answer of the right answer or what a man wants to hear as far as what you're bringing to the table. You know who's supposed to tell you that? The woman that brought you into this world.
Ooh.
She should know what it took for her to get the ring put on that finger. And if you don't have not a good representation, but a person who didn't teach you that, then how about you seek married women and pick their brain? And then you'll get your answer. Because we're in 2023 right now. Any answer you're looking for, it ain't hard to find.
Yeah. And if mom couldn't get the ring, how about you do the opposite of what she did?
Yep.
Because obviously, if mom couldn't get a ring, if mom couldn't get a steady man in her life, then mom was doing it wrong.
But you got a puzzled look on your face, Barry. What's the question?
But then they're gonna be mad when you say that to them.
Mm-hmm. What's the question, Barry? What's the question? Because you look puzzled, and I can see it.
It's not a question. It's more of a statement.
Okay.
I think it's over for women in this country. I think it's over. I fought as hard as I can possibly fight to try my very best to spread whatever message that I could at the tail end of it, because I've been listening to the MGTOWs and the Red Pillars and all that other stuff for years. And don't get it twisted, there are Red Pillars that are off their rocker with a lot of stuff that they ask and they want, but when you look at the amount of resources women require today, asking you to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning to take care of me sexually and make me a freaking meal because I'm tired and I just got in the house is not much to ask, because you want too much from me, right? Like, there's a reason why the pick-me's, there's a movement called pick-me's. Woman for hire basically is what they are. Okay, you are here for my pleasure, and that is it. Keep yourself clean, keep yourself presentable, keep yourself submissive, keep yourself tight, and you have to do all the things that I'm asking you to do around the house, or I will replace you. It is that simple.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where we're at here. This is why I say to a lot of men, yeah, it's kind of sucky that you can't expect genuine love from the women of this day, because you really can't. But you can buy the respect that you're looking for. And that's what a lot of men are doing with these women in this country. The reason why you see so many men, I don't want to say Caucasian men, but basically that's what they are. I should say the men, affluent men that have money. The reason why you see these men with all these bad women, because just like you said, they're in the rotation. They're in the highest class of rotation you can think of, but they're in rotation because they know damn well these women ain't worth nothing. They're not worth anything. You know what I'm saying? Cash is a tool control. Okay. Women still haven't figured that out. You know what I'm saying? They still haven't figured that out. They have not realized that the tool is the cash to get what I want from you. Because what you're going to do is be done with it and go out there and make your life look glamorous, but you still broke. The next thing you know, you want another jet, and then you want another jet, then you want another jet, and then you want another jet. And before you know it, you're 50 years old, and you're like, damn, what did I do with my life? You spent it up. You blew your life on things that you thought was going to keep you happy, and it won't. And let's say the woman is happy. Let's say she is happy with her life. She's very, very pleased with her life. What about her daughter? Yeah. What about the women that comes behind her? What about the women that want children? The women that want to be taken care of and want to be loved for real, not somebody that's going to be used. And that's why when women say, you know, men want you to want to control us, I'm like, no, you want to be controlled. You just not willing to be controlled by a man that ain't got no money.
Gary, remember what I told you about what happens, how this thing plays out, and what's going to happen with the women who are the children of these other women who don't have men. Those what's going to happen is that those baby boomer women and those older Gen X women, since either one, they divorced their husbands or just never got married in the first place. Well, by the time they reach the age of needing elderly care, they're going to shift all of that burden and responsibility on their daughters. The same daughters that they impeded from learning how to become wives and have somebody take care of them. They're going to put all that burden on their daughters. Their daughters are going to be responsible for their elderly care. And when such time comes, their daughters are going to be the ones responsible for paying for their burial payments and all that kind of stuff, all the arrangements. They're going to be stuck on the hook for all that. Meanwhile, they've never done what was necessary to set their daughters up so that their daughters could be in a position to truly and efficiently handle any of that, which is ultimately going to lead to either one, those elderly women's homelessness, or their daughters' homelessness. Unless, of course, their daughters take the route of the sex trade, OnlyFans on steroids, or outright prostitution, if you will. And as we just mentioned just a few moments ago, the price of sex is dropping for these ladies. So for them to pay their bills, they're going to be having to give a lot of services.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm gonna say it like this, and I'm gonna say it just as candid as I probably can. There's a difference between stepping up to the plate, like men have been doing, and trying to give women what they want and what they was asking for. And there's a different, and that's the difference of women being so delusional to think that they're worth what they're asking for. There's too many women that think they're worth what they're asking for, and they're not. The market will always tell the truth. Always. Oh, I'm a bad bee. I was listening to a woman in the car last night, and she was like, she a bad bee. I'm looking at her like,
she average at best? Was she at least average at best?
Not even average, dog. Not even average. Not even average. I'm sitting here like, so what? I'm thinking in my head, what makes you think you why? Because you got a job? You having a job is freaking proof that you are not a bad bee. You have a job.
Exactly.
If you were a bad bee, you will not be working. Trust me. You know what I'm saying? You're not a bad bee. You know what I mean? The bottom line is a lot of these women really do think their value. They overthink their value. Everything that you can do, a woman can do. And there's a lot of women that look less like you and do it twice as better because they appreciate it more.
Oh.
And that's the reason why a lot of women, they're terrible in bed. The starfishes, you know what I'm saying? They can only laugh on top for like 3 minutes.
Ooh.
You know what I'm saying? Because just like that whole thing, they're out of shape. They're used to being coddled to. They're used to just being played and used. So when they get with a man, they don't understand why that man don't want them like that. It's like, because you're boring in bed. You're boring in life. You have nothing to add to my life. You know what I mean? At the very least, with the well-traveled women, they at least have a great conversation because guess what? They didn't talk to so many damn men. They know exactly how to talk to men. So at very least, it's good entertainment for the man that's spending his money. But if I'm sitting here with you at a restaurant, you're on your phone every 3 seconds, taking pictures of my food that I'm buying, just put it on Instagram so you can show the world that you went out on a date tonight, something you couldn't afford on your own. And you think I'm gonna take you to a nice restaurant, much less a hotel? No, backseat of the car. That's what you're worth. You're worth some nachos in the backseat of the car.
And this is what they tell us, because if you look at, and this time I'm going to talk about the loudest women, the ones who promote this imagery and this culture the most. If you notice, the only thing that they ever really profess about themselves of value is their capacity to perform Guac 5,000 services.
Yeah.
That's all they seem to talk about.
Which is prostitute services.
Yeah.
Which is prostitute services.
Here's the thing. I have a question for you from 360. Okay. And this might be next show.
Oh.
How many men actually like it this way?
Like what? Like what do you mean?
No responsibility. I don't have to be tied down to you. You believe in pro-choice, right? I can play with you when I want to play with you and leave you back way home when I'm done with you. How many men are actually sad? Now, I will argue that there are men that hate this because they're considered incels. Like I was listening to another, it was like 3 men in a car yesterday as well, because it was also the flip side. And I'm listening to the dude, and the dude says, so and so's not coming out tonight. I'm thinking that her mom spooked her and got her feeling some type of way about the place that we was going to. And the guys was like, yeah, that's probably what happened. And I'm looking at them like laughing my ass off. Like, you think a girl on a Friday night in a college town is afraid to go out because of what her mom said?
Nope. She look.
Yo, she
college age.
You, Doug. She
college age. She'd have probably found this replacement.
She's already out. She's been out, right? You are not it. Okay, you're not it. And there was 3 guys, and I hate to say it, but they were of the incel group. You know what I mean? They was definitely of the incel group. So it's like,
let me chime in. Let me chime in real quick, because I know you asked 360 this question, but I got a take on it.
I want to hear what you got to say.
You might want to, because I'm gonna give a different perspective. You might, because the question was, how many men actually enjoy it to be this way?
Right.
And to be honest with you, the men who would enjoy it to be this way are married men. Why married men?
Please explain that.
Because if they're not getting what they want at home, and the way these women are offering Gawk 3000 promiscuity with no responsibility or strings attached, that means I can still be dedicated to my wife, see you on tap on, when I want to see you. You're not going to question me. You're going to go about, live your life, the whole 9. I get what I want, go back home, you get what you want, and you go see what you can get from everybody else. I'll be the Pookie that just slang the D, and you go scam these other people for the money. So I think married men are the ones that
I have to piggyback on that one. I got to piggyback on top of that.
I'm not saying all married men, but because look at it.
Piggyback, not pushback. He said piggyback.
Okay, sorry.
He agrees.
I'm going to piggyback on that, because I will say all married men, because it's something that actually shifts the power dynamic even in the modern marital relationship. Because now this is becoming one of those signs to the American wife. You better watch your ass, because guess what? What you don't want to do, that it's not another sister will do. It's another host, another legion of sisters will do what you won't do, because they will give their left leg to take your place.
It was a woman on a treadmill saying, "That's our dude. That's our man." Right? She was literally on the treadmill walking on the treadmill. Now, to me, I saw that as a major threat to wives. Not to me. I don't give a shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. But to wives. Look at the message she's saying. That's our man, boo. She's on the treadmill because she know your ass ain't.
Yep. Exactly.
Think about it though. Y'all all called it. Y'all said
it's competition this is competition.
If you're
not handling your man, I will take your man.
But remember what one of those major things for divorce that women said? They said it was infidelity. So if you got somebody that's throwing it at them and you're not doing it, what do you think is going to happen?
And we're seeing so many women start to have buyer's remorse with divorcing their husbands because they tell themselves,
God,
they've been telling themselves
back in the market that they're
they've been telling themselves that, hey, I can divorce this man because I'm strong, independent. I'm doing, I have this Sex in the City type of mentality. I get out there and get me another man.
They get out there and turn into
wrong. Not only can you not get the same caliber man as the one you actually married, but now you can't even attract men that are beneath him. Then because they don't want your old ass. They don't want your weak walls having self. They don't want all of this excessive responsibility and baggage. They don't want to deal with this emotional baggage. They don't want to deal with being stepdad to your kids. They don't want any of that. It is increasingly harder for women of a certain age group to be successful in the dating market than their younger counterparts. That's why that's why the cosmetic industry.
I was about to pull it up. I was about to put that up for y'all.
Are not worth all that frustration. Thank you for telling me that. I truly appreciate it. I am so glad I'm not worth that frustration. So I won't never have to deal with your crazy ass. Thank you.
I was gonna pull it up because I wanted to see what y'all was gonna say about that.
Something like this right here is. I want you to have this mentality. Stay your crazy ass over there. Leave me the fuck alone.
Exactly.
But this is the delusion that people are saying.
It's ridiculous, bro. You come in.
But they're saying it's like people aren't supposed to be together. But that's
boys, baby.
At the end of the day,
but at the end of the day, the only way that the world is going to populate is with men and women together. So
no.
Well, no, that's not true.
No,
that's not true.
That's not true.
You still need no. You still need an egg and you still need a sperm. You don't need the two people together.
You need a willing man, and men are not willing anymore.
But that's what I'm saying. The only way the world's going to keep populating is if you combine egg and sperm. It don't matter how you do it, but you still got to do it. So you need each other.
Having children was never the problem. The problem was the lack of a cohesive family unit. These women were busted open for Pookie and Ray anyway.
Correct. But that's what I was going to say. Having the kid ain't the issue. It's having the family structure for them kids. Because think about it. If guys are telling you, hey, I don't want your baggage, and the one that you with don't want you either, make it make sense. Because you're going to be breeding more people like you. Because that's what they see.
And this is what I was going to bring up. You all might want to have an interesting Google search. But if I'm not mistaken, within the last 10, 15, maybe even 20 years or so, in the country of Japan, there was a movement by the Japanese men to where they started abstaining from relationships with the Japanese women. And not because they were turned homosexual or anything like that. They just lost interest in the Japanese women. They found that it was that they themselves were much more productive in their lives without having the distractions of women, without having to sacrifice their incomes with women, without having to deal with women's problems and issues and so on and so forth. They actually did what American women claim that they want us to do: treat them as equals. That's exactly what those men started doing, treating them as equals.
What was the result when they did that?
The result was their population started declining so rapidly and so effectively that the Japanese government itself had to step in and create its own matchmaking services with the hope of trying to re-inspire these men to getting with these women again, and to a certain extent kind of open the door to attract foreigners to come in and take up shop in Japan as well.
That's the book. That's the Bible. Yep. Once men realize how freaking annoying and it's not even funny how much time men invest into women. It's not even funny.
And the rest of the Western world is beginning to follow that trend.
Yep. Because it's gotten to a point where men are like, yo, man, it's better to jerk off. It's
put it like this.
Be by yourself.
Put it like this. Put it like this, right? Black women are the ones because black women are the main females who are saying they don't need the men, they're men. Because you don't hear, our white counterparts, our Asian counterparts, you don't hear none of them saying we don't need our men. But for the ones who have the loudest outcry, who's saying we don't need them, we don't need the men ain't crap, this, that, and the third. It wasn't up until recently. If you Google search black women, all you saw was 304s, naked women. Like that's all you saw. It was like free porn, pretty much. What happened was you had black women complaining, and they got that changed. But why would Google, if you search black women, show this? See, women because every time I see women showing their butt and twerking, all this stuff like this, dressing provocative, and a comment is made, it's, oh, she can't go out the house and love the way she looks, so that's how she want to dress. Fine, you can do that. But just know that the algorithm in society is viewing you as a whore.
Yep. And we don't, and at this point, we don't care anymore. Be as hoish as you like. We don't care.
But think about it. Just as long as they keep doing that, you already know those are not the ones that are trying to be wives at the moment. And the problem is, it's like, okay, you stay in your lane
because it's not. Correct, there is no moment.
But think about it. Their mind is trained to, I could do what I want in my 20s and 30s, and then I could change. No, you keep that same energy you had in your 20s into your 30s, into your 70s and 80s.
But you know what, though?
Because that's what you chose. Instead of you being wholesome, instead of you paying attention to the people that was around you at that point, you keep that same energy. Because at least we know those are the women to stay away from.
But those that's what the men want. That's what the men want. See? The men want you to be hoes. The men want you to be slutty.
It's not the men. I'm like, we talk enough to know that's what these women are doing is not what the mass majority of men want.
But you know what, though? This little whore mentality thing that's going on, it's slowly but surely coming to an end. Because remember how we just spoke about what was it? City Girls, how their album was called War and everything like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That album they said was only set to make like 3,000 to 6,000 sales in the first 2 weeks or so, where normally albums in the first 2 weeks or so sell over 70 to 200K.
That means you didn't lost your fan base. Nobody's supporting that foolery.
That means look at the Cardi B's latest single and all this stuff. People aren't buying it. Freaking the billboard for hip hop took a dive. Juicy J made a video coming out saying, yo, we got to do something and save hip hop because the sales are low. And who's the ones that are really dominating hip hop right now? It's not the men. It's
Nope.
more women stuff that you hear out there.
Yes,
And
sir.
soon as they took control, hip hop went to trash. That's why you don't see it on the top billboards no more.
Nope.
All of that stuff.
But think
And
about
those behind the scene are pushing for it. Because what was it? The BET Awards, right? I think they gave the girl from one of the girls, who is it, JT or Young Miami, whatever. One of them that has like a podcast.
Mhm.
They had Joe Budden's podcast and a couple of other people podcasts. You know, they gave her the best podcast of 2023.
Mhm.
That to me, that was
I
an
didn't watch that
agenda.
stuff.
That was an agenda. No, but that was an agenda push. Because I'm like, what value am I getting from your podcast? You're bringing Cardi B on there and talking about being a whore. You're bringing, Lotto on there talking about being a whore and living your best life and all of this stuff. I'm like, what value are you getting? But yet
Well,
they rated her podcast.
because the one thing that always gets lost in translation, and it's something I was trying to bring to my sister's attention, is despite the fact that so many of our sisters claim to be good Black women, they don't demonstrate that necessarily in a collective sense with their consumerism. It's Black women who are supporting this bullshit. It's Black women who are purchasing those albums. It's Black women who support the media that promotes this bullshit. It's our own Black women, whether they be quiet, whether they be loud, whether they be highly educated, whether they be undereducated. It's our women in a collective sense who are spending their money endorsing this bullshit. And that's why it persists. And that's why if you look at all of these other streams of media, television, film, print, radio, that's why they keep marketing to Black women, because even with the knowledge, even with all this empowerment and access to higher education and supposedly being queens and goddesses, this is what the fruit of all of that is. This is what they support.
Yep.
They are on a path of self-destruction. And despite despite how badly they would love to blame us, Black men, for their destruction, our hands are clean on this one.
Mm-hmm.
Here's where the problem comes in the most, and we're gonna cut the live after this. Give our last closing remarks and stuff like that. We have so many Black women that say we don't support this mess, we don't support that mess. What do you support? You sure as hell don't support the measures to stop it. So what do you support? Because I don't see any Black women supporting the change for real. Oh, they'll get up there and they'll say they little 2 cents when they get caught up in a daggone video that they don't like. Sure, they'll sit there and say not all 50,000 times. But where are you spending your money to turn this around? Because there's plenty of good content out there. There's plenty of positive content out there. There's plenty of messages saying, hey, this is how we supposed to be. This is how we should live our life. You should be modest. You should this. You should cover up. You should be honorable to yourself and to your man. We have plenty of those messages going around, but those are not the ones that go viral. Those are not the ones. You don't buy those t-shirts. You don't buy those mugs. You don't come to those lives. So, yeah, I hear you saying not us, but we don't see it.
I can hear
we don't.
I can see.
We only can hear it. And it's only when we say something you don't like. You can't put all women in the same category. You're right. I can't. But where's your real support? Because remember, it may not affect you, but it's going to affect your daughter. It's going to most definitely affect your daughter. And it's going to turn your son into a misogynist, because that's the only way he's going to survive in this environment. It's your choice. You're the ones that got your hands on it. You're the ones in charge. Remember, you are the one who dictates what's going on with your children. You are the one with the buying power. You are with the degrees. You are the ones that's getting the businesses. You. So if the world's going to shit, it's in your hands, baby girl. Men washed their hands of it a long time ago, because we had to survive. And I'm complete.
The only thing I just want to piggyback on is you say, you know, when you say something and it offends somebody, and that's when they say, "Oh, it's not all women." To that I say, if it offended you, instead of you making adjustments within, so that whatever I said or Gary said or Smooth said that offended you, it no longer offends you because you worked on yourself to eradicate whatever it is that men are saying, this is what I look for in a woman, and you don't fit that bill. That just means you fall into the narrative that there's no, what's the word I'm looking for? You still fall in the category of, I can't tell you nothing. You know, you're perfect the way you are. I shouldn't need to level up in any form of fashion. So in a way, you're falling in line with everybody else, because nobody can tell you nothing. Because if I hear, because if somebody say, "Oh, men are this," and it fits me, men either say, "Yo, all right, I just can't. That just mean I can't get this caliber of women." Or I'm going to step my game up so that I'm able to get this caliber of women, because this is what they're looking for. Women seem to have a different approach by saying, "Oh, even though I don't fit this narrative, I still can get the man regardless." So basically, you have no desire to change or level up, but at the same time, you want men to level up, step their game up through all phases of life. But you're not willing to step up in just one category that you disagreed with somebody that they said. So I think that's, something you got to check yourself on. That's where I'm at with it. Anybody else?
360.
Any following words?
Sure. To kind of piggyback off of what my brothers have been saying and my sister have been saying, I find it so interesting that the portion of men in this country that have been criticized the most are the supposed incel men. But yet, I believe I saw a 16-year-old boy put it succinctly when he said that the customers of these women who are promoting themselves with prostitution and OnlyFans and whatnot, their main primary customers are nothing but those same incel men. And you would think that these ladies, at the very least, would be smart enough to not try to dissuade the incel men from being incel men, since they rely upon them so heavily. But again, this is all part of that delusional thinking. This is all part of them thinking that they have greater leverage than what they really have, that they have a greater sense of importance or a greater contribution to society than what they really have. And it's all been a great, horrible lie. A lie that falls away even more with each passing day. They tell us that they are strong, independent, don't need men, And yet almost everything that comes out of their mouths is a complaint about what they're not getting from men to satisfy their need, to satisfy their necessity. This is what puts these women in such a horrible position. It's what makes them put themselves in this place of obsolescence, of ambiguity, of being replaceable, because there's always another woman who would give her left leg to be in a position of being able to attract a man that would provide any of these things. And it's sad, especially for my lovely black women, who, by the way, if they are offended by anything that I've said so far, then damn it, good. Be offended. Because I have painstakingly been so specific about the particular subsegment of black women in our community that obviously I was not talking about all black women. And I know this always winds up getting to that same place. But if these women felt triggered by what I said, then they should be triggered, because they are the exact people I was talking about, because they choose to self-identify with that toxicity and dysfunction. And that's not on me. That's part of their own soul searching. If the best thing that they can find when they look at themselves in the mirror is a prostitute, that's not on me. That's not on any of the people on this panel. That's a personal enterprise. That's something that they have to do that soul searching and ask themselves, why is it that the only thing I have to offer a man in this life is vagina or access to said vagina? Why is it that that's the only thing I have of value to add to a relationship? Why is it that I don't, why aren't I a collaborative woman, a cooperative woman? Why don't I invest in the man that I claim to love or claim to want to be with, claim to want to be in a marital relationship? Why don't I give that man the best of me? Why do I give the best of me to all these Pookies, Ray Rays, and other lowlifes? Why do I give them the best of me? And then after they've dragged me through the mud, after they've saddled me with all this emotional, financial, parental baggage, why then do I give all of that, which is now the worst of me? Why do I put all of that on Front Street and advertise that as the best of me to try to lure some type of poor bastard to come in and save my life? Why then? Why do I give my prospective husband, why do I give him the worst of me instead of safeguarding the best of me just for him? And that's what I got.
Well said, brother. Well said. Anything you want to add, Erica P? Or are you good?
I was just going to say, women in general, they need to wake up. They need to listen. You need to talk to people. You need to stop being delusional. Because at the end of the day, these are all choices we collectively make for ourselves. If you want to be a wife, if you want to be a mother, if you want all of those things, try to do it right. Date with a purpose. Date with the expectation, hey, I want the relationship. I want to be married. I want to do this stuff right. I get at the end of the day, every situation is going to have those outliers. There's not going to be a perfect step-by-step guide. But what you can do is hold yourself accountable. What you could do is listen to people at times. If the advice that you're getting is not best for you, how about you talk to some people that's in them situations? Because what I'm starting to hear a lot is, well, I don't know people. You do know people. There's podcasts like ours that, shows that's on the same line. You find it on any platform. You'll get some black women that are married who go, hey, these lists, I don't know where you got this from, but I don't think this is gonna work for you. Some of them delusional things need to be rethought. Because at the end of the day, all you're doing is fitting into the narrative. They want to keep Black families separated. They want broken homes. That's what is being promoted right now. And you're fitting right into that narrative. You're doing it. And you're the one that's causing yourself to do it. Hot Girl Summers ain't gonna win every time. Look at the Krishawns of the world. They'll be glorified baby mamas. And that's what you're gonna get. You didn't off how many of the kids for this dude before you decide to keep this one? Like, come on. Is that really what we looking up to be? The shows of the world. Do I really want to be on a basketball show and I'm not a wife? I'm a girlfriend that could be replaceable? Because we brought that into the narrative earlier today too. Or do I want to be like the Britishes of the world where I'm being a scammer? Because scammers going to scam regardless. But is that what you really want to do? To keep the illusion of a lifestyle? That's not realistic. For people to have these lifestyles that you see on TikTok and Instagram, these I'm gonna say $500,000 plus lifestyles. You have to bring either you have to be with somebody who has that kind of income, or you got to be the one making it. One or the other.
Mm-hmm.
So if that's what you choose, then one or two things is going to happen. You're going to have to go get your degree and make sure it's in something that's going to make you that kind of money, or you need to find somebody who wants to date somebody like you that's bringing in that kind of money. Because
you're going to be doing you're going to be doing a lot of walk 5,000.
Well, that's what I was going to say. You're going to be doing a whole bunch of tricks to get there. and them tricks get old fast.
Let me tell you something.
You start getting over 30. You get to the.
You're going to slow down. You're going to slow down. Everybody do it.
But I have one question on this to kind of piggyback on what you said, sister. So a lot of sisters out here who indulge in that type of behavior, that prostitute behavior, they may want to talk to some older prostitutes. Because these women, they think it's all going to be just cookies and cream. That they get these wonderful Ruth Chris dinners and get flued out and then just get bent over and that's it. No, ma'am. Some of y'all will put yourselves in positions that are so unseemly, so ungodly, so traumatizing that there's no amount of psychiatric therapy that will ever fix you or get you right.
You see it in the adult film industry.
Yep.
Look at the women who've been experienced in that Dubai porta potty.
Yes, I was thinking of that one. That's the one I was going to bring it up for you.
And
what I don't know what that is. Yeah, I don't know what that is. Fill me in, please.
These women give you go ahead. You gonna talk a lot better than I will about that. Go ahead.
Boy. Okay, so I think it's kind of understood that the most wealthy of the wealthy men in this planet, a large segment of them happen to be Middle Eastern.
Mm-hmm.
And many of them may frequent cities like Dubai in the United Arab Emirates.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of those men have a ridiculous amount of money. To say that money is insignificant to them would be putting it lightly.
Use it as toilet paper, pretty much.
And for various novelties, some of those men will indulge in behaviors that the average man could never even dream of, much less convince a woman to degrade herself to that level to partake in. And when it comes to the Dubai porta potty, some of these women will be brought in to be with either a singular man or maybe even a group of men to partake in some prostitute activity. And then while they're there, they're offered a handsome sum of money. Sometimes it might be within the tens of thousands or so. And numerous women have taken that money, gotten flown out to Dubai and other cities like that, and indulged in that type of behavior or activity rather. And then for an additional fee, or as part of that contracted fee, whatever it may be, those men may also reserve the right to vomit on these women and to a certain extent even defecate on these women, and to a certain extent maybe even require these women to consume said vomit and defecation. Which is where it got that name, Dubai Porta Potty.
Yep.
Wow.
And that's not even talking about other forms of degradation, such as bestiality and other things that these women will go and receive this money for. And when they come back to the States, if they actually fulfill their part of the bargain, because there's numerous women who've found themselves in those positions and kind of stopped halfway, only to find themselves shipped back home without the full sum of the money that they even degraded themselves for in the first place.
Or without any of it at all. Because for them,
or without any of it at all.
They were reneging on a contract. So they didn't get the money at all.
Or the women who found themselves inserted into the international sex trade. All because they were trying to chase a dollar. And now fast forward, these women represent a class of women who are sexually traumatized above and beyond what most people can even fathom. And they're right back in society. See, this is the dark underbelly of that type of behavior, that type of lifestyle that doesn't get the type of attention that it needs. And it's so many instances where women subject themselves to situations that are incredibly, inherently dangerous. And yet our women are the women who say above and beyond that they are the least protected, least provided for, but yet consistently put themselves in situations that are highly potentially dangerous. Such as, and I'm bringing 360, such as the things on that list. Of that first date list. Instead of these women enjoying first date locations where there's ample amounts of societal protection, they will rather put themselves in situations with questionable men in questionable places where they may be subjected to God knows what.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. On that note, that's a fine way to end the stream. That was very informative. I have never heard of that. And just when I did a quick look, it says warning, do not read this story unless you have a strong stomach. So if that's the title, yeah.
Now, let me just say this. For those women who claim that I women bash, for those women who claim that I'm against them and I'll never have anything good to say about women, your worst enemy is your damn self. There's nothing I can say, nothing I can do that can put you in those situations the way you put yourself in those situations. Okay, you want to be an asshole and an idiot and do that kind of dumb stuff for money? Go right ahead. That's your life. I cannot. 2 women, 1 cup. That's all I can say. This is Gary Lamb signing off. You guys have a good one.